Hey guys, I'm Sabirul Islam and welcome to another episode of Build Your Confidence on Stage. Now in today's episode, I'll be sharing with you 2 quick fire tips on what you actually need to do when you forget your words on stage. Honestly speaking, when it comes to speaking on stage, the majority of the people, if not everyone, often forgets things. Now that's including myself. I presented at a number of events around the world and there's multiple times when I've actually forgotten what to say or what my next word was or what my next sentence was. So my word of advice to you is, you've heard this statement before, is to keep calm and carry on, because ultimately, you don't want to be in a state of panic. You don't want to have that inner feeling that you're getting in your belly that, oh my God, you're shaking because you don't know what your next word is, and you don't want to express that to the audience because they don't know. Honestly speaking, the audience does not know what you're going to say next. They're just tuned in. They're glued into what you're speaking about, and they just want you to carry on as normal. And if you show that impression, that expression, that you're nervous, that you don't know what you're going to be talking about next, or you've forgotten what your next line is or sentence is, honestly, you create a sense of panic for yourself and you create a sense of panic for the audience. So my advice is just be calm, be collective, and just carry on as normal. Now, if it's an important point in which you've forgotten, the best thing to do would be to carry on. If it's a story you're telling, to carry on with that story, and then you can come back to it at a certain point where it relates to that story. And if you forget altogether, honestly, it doesn't really matter. So my advice there is just make sure if you're at that point where you're forgetting what your next word is or what you're going to say, continue, be calm, be collective, and actually just take a deep breath, relax. If you need to pause for a bit, pause, because sometimes the emphasis of pause is so important. You're allowing that audience that couple of seconds just to absorb what you've already said, and that gives you some time on stage to be able to relax your energy, calm your body down, and then take a deep breath and then take that next step. So I would say perhaps even move from where you're standing to one step aside, or a part of the stage in which really you feel more comfortable, away from the deep lights that are often most likely shining on you. So it's very important that you actually carry on your presentation. So don't worry if you forget your words, just keep calm and carry on. Secondly, I want you to be able to stand on stage, to be able to present a story, a topic that really resonates with you. If it's a professional presentation, you can still capture audience emotions through what you're sharing, what you're talking about, when you're able to deliver it very softly, very gently, and in a very harmonious way with the audience, so that you put in those time and the effort to be able to interlink your message with the audience. Now, why does this link with when forgetting your words on stage, or what to do when you forget your words on stage? Well, let me tell you this. When you connect with the audience, when you're speaking at a soft tone, when you're speaking in a very slow pace, audience really understands what you're going through, because you're bringing out the real you. You're being vulnerable on stage. So when you make a mistake or when you forget your words, the audience really is actually perhaps even expecting you to make those mistakes. So it shouldn't hurt you. It shouldn't make you have that feeling of anxiety or feeling anxious or those butterflies in your stomach, because you totally avoid all of that when you make yourself feel vulnerable on stage, telling a story that resonates with you, whatever message you're sharing. But if you're on stage and you actually have a script that you've written and you've numbered certain items or certain points on your presentation, that in itself is very challenging, very difficult, because for me, the issues I've faced through my speeches that I've often given is when I try and number the 7 Ps. And I say the 7 Ps are A, B, and C, and D, and I talk about these, and then often I get to 6 and I can't remember number 7. It's happened a few times. So for the rest of when I learned from that mistake, I felt like, okay, I shouldn't number them anymore. I should label them something else. So for me, it was really important to be able to learn from that mistake. And I'm sure that sometimes internally you can feel disappointed with yourself But externally, if the audience doesn't know, can't see it, then why should it hurt? You carry on, you think of yourself as, yes, you've nailed your speech, you've done well, and if you've got your speech filmed, recorded, have a look back and see where you actually made those mistakes. Where did you go wrong? And what can you do to be able to better yourself next time, so you have that in your memory? And honestly, rehearsal, nothing goes better than rehearsals. So if you're speaking out loud each and every time about the points that you need to make sure it's in objectives, it's in short bullet points, and not long sentences. That way you make things clear, you make things concise, and you make things easy for yourself when you're presenting on stage. So I say, make that emotional connection with the audience, tell it as a story. That's so much easier to remember. And forget numbering things, because when you try numbering things, you're more likely to be forgetting something on stage. Thanks for watching this episode. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you do so by clicking on the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon, so you can stay up to date with each and every episode that I launch on a weekly basis. And remember to share this video with your friends, with your family, even your colleagues, because there's a lot of tips, guidance, and a lot of things that I share that actually resonates with a lot of people who sometimes often keep things inside of them, because public speaking often makes people feel vulnerable, anxious, nervous. And sometimes it's all about just standing up and being confident enough to be able to accept that. And it's okay. A lot of people have these fears. Even I myself went through all of these issues and concerns. But when you have that openness and you accept that it's okay to be scared about public speaking and you want to learn about it, it's videos like this and actually you stepping up onto a stage and talking that really gets you to harness your ability to speak and perform and build that level of confidence. So folks, I look forward to seeing you all again next week for another episode. So see you soon. Thanks guys for watching this episode. Now, if you're serious about kickstarting your career in public speaking, I'm launching the Build Your Confidence on Stage book and online modular public speaking course, where I will teach you the 4 pillars of public speaking, which include the speaker's psychology, the principles of public speaking, the performance masterclass, and the profession of a public speaker. So if you're keen on harnessing your public speaking skills and turning your passion for speaking into a lifestyle profession, then register your interest now by visiting www.buildyourconfidenceonstage.com. The link is below, and I look forward to supporting your public speaking learning journey. See you next week.